What's up, guys? So today I've come out here with my drone and I'm going to send it because it's Send It Sunday, and today I thought I would do something a little bit different, and I thought I would start a new series of videos where I talk in between my flights about a topic that I think might be interesting to discuss. So all things related to FPV freestyle, of course, and today this is one that's been going around in the FPV stratosphere for a long time, and there's arguments for and against this, and it's all about stabilisation. And so today I'm going to give you my thoughts on why I think stabilising your footage in freestyle or with freestyle flying is cheating. Somebody's had a party here. So in 2018, GoPro released the Hero 7, and this was like a monumental thing because it was the birth of, yes, you guessed it, Hypersmooth. And up until this point, stabilization was okay. The Hero 6 was all right. It kind of smoothed your footage a little bit, but it wasn't that advanced. And Hypersmooth was just like, it really blew people's minds. So now it didn't really matter if you were flying with bent props or you had a bad tune, it would smooth out your footage, and you wouldn't even know if somebody had prop wash because it was that good. And anyway, so this led to pilots starting the whole hashtag nostab movement, which is basically now worn kind of like a badge of honor, just because pilots want you to know that they're not using stabilization, so you should take that into consideration when you're watching them. So why is it such a big deal? Anyway, before we get into that, I'm just going to fly a couple of packs. I've got a new trick that I really want to get today, so wish me luck. So I think it was Slat who possibly once said that using stabilization doesn't make the gaps any bigger. Of course, that's true. And that was his defense as to why using stabilization is not cheating. And I think I even remember Cricket once saying that he doesn't want to risk losing his footage because of one bent prop, because he can't be bothered to change props all the time. And obviously, you know, if you're flying with bent props, you're going to get jello. If you use Hypersmooth, it doesn't matter if you got jello because it's going to smooth it all out. And I've seen, the reason why I've seen these people say these things is because there's always arguments online for and against, and there's posts, usually on Facebook, like I said, where people are stating their case for and against using stabilization. And I find it's most often the ones who are using stabilization who are the most vocal, especially in the comments. I see them like band together, almost validating each other's opinions as to why stabilization use is okay in freestyle. So do you know why I think they're doing this? Making excuses, validating each other's opinions. I think it's because deep down, if they searched really, really hard within themselves, they would realize that they're cheating. And I'm going to get into it a bit further, but first I'm going to try and get this new trick. Wish me luck. when you're putting your footage out there for the world to see, and you know, maybe 10, hundreds, thousands, even millions of people are going to see it, they're going to be judging it based on the freestyle skills that they've seen from other pilots. And so if you're using stabilisation and somebody doesn't know that, and that's very common, I've seen people who have used stabilisation and then people comment on that video saying, wow, that's so smooth, obviously, because that person used stabilisation. And so, in my opinion, it's cheating. And the only way to get the same effect as using stabilisation is to have a good tune, use fresh props, have good gear, practice, stick time, practice, and guess what? Oh yeah, more practice. It takes a lot of time. And so if you're just going to bypass all of that just by pressing one button on here to achieve the same result, that, in my opinion, is just blatant cheating. And so if you're somebody who does use stabilisation, maybe you disagree with everything I said, or maybe you've got some counter arguments, stick around and I'm going to tell you why ditching the stabilisation is a good idea and why it will make you a better pilot. Now, obviously in this video, I'm only talking about freestyle. I'm not talking about cinematic, or if you're trying to tell a story, please continue to stabilize, all good. But for freestyle pilots, so when I first started flying freestyle, I remember I was stabilizing everything. I was even using real steady on my freestyle footage because I was just too ashamed to post the shaky, like raw footage online. And I remember someone even called me out for it. But eventually I ditched the stabilization and I instantly noticed in all my videos, all the minor corrections, the shakes, the wobbles. I just thought, oh God, this looks awful. And it was almost like someone had put a rocket on my ass, and I was super motivated to work on getting as smooth as possible, and it became my main focus for a long. In fact, it still is. I'm a lot smoother now, obviously, than when I started, but I've still got a lot to work on, and I really admire the pilots who can fly with just almost with zero or little to no minor corrections in between their tricks, because doing the tricks is great, but what happens in between and how smooth you are, that's what I'm really looking at, and I really admire a pilot who can do that. But yeah, anyway, quick break. I'm going to try my best to get this new trick I've been working on. Back in a minute.
Powering off. Oh man.
Alright, so if you're out there watching this thinking, who bloody cares, just get out there, have fun, enjoy yourself. Doesn't matter what you do, whether you do or don't stabilise your footage. Sure, that's fine, you do you. However, I know that there are plenty of people out there who do care, and obviously you must be one of them if you've watched up until this point. So anyway, I've got a few points for counter arguments to what I think people may say who are in favour of using stabilisation. And if you're the type of person who's saying you prefer the look of it, then I will say it's probably because you haven't spent enough time and effort getting smooth without stabilisation to realise that you don't need it. Turn it off, learn to be smooth without it, stop being lazy. Right, next point is you can't be bothered to change your props. If you scuff a prop or break a prop whilst you're flying, you want to just continue without the fear of having jello in your footage. I would say land, change your props, stop being lazy. Now, if you're the type of person who says you can't afford to keep changing props and you don't want to keep spending money on new props all the time, sure, that's fair enough. However, I will say that flying with bent or broken props is more likely to lead to damaged equipment, as in you're more likely to burn a motor. Your quad is not going to be at peak performance. It's not going to be flying the same as it would be when you got fresh props on there. So you're possibly going to be more likely to crash, which will lead to further costs. So I would say just land, change your props, don't worry about it. Next point, you say that you're not good at tuning or you don't know how to tune and you just want to eliminate that prop wash. I would say now, this isn't a problem. The technology has gotten so far along now and so advanced that I myself am using a preset. Shout out to the Supafly 5-inch preset. I don't know how to tune myself, and yet my quad flies amazing. I don't have any prop wash. It feels locked, and this is all down to a preset. So, I would say there's no excuse anymore. And so, if you're watching this, you are using Hypersmooth, you should really ask yourself, am I only using stabilisation because I want to hide my mistakes?
Oh my days, how'd you like that, eh? Freaking nuts. So end it.
So the bottom line here is that, tricks aside, just flying in a straight line is a skill in itself. And, doing a trick and a combo is great, but what you do in between those two tricks, this part here, I find is extremely important and often is one of the most neglected parts in FPV freestyle. And I think that's what sets apart a really great pilot from just a good pilot. And so if you're having to use an external tool to cover up what some might argue is the most fundamental skill in FPV freestyle, then you have to ask yourself, why? So those are my thoughts on the matter and why I think that using stabilisation in FPV freestyle is cheating. You're a cheater if you're using it. And what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I didn't get my new trick today, but I did get something else which was almost equally as pleasing. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Kaboom!